Hey guys, it's Steph from Hot and Moving, and I mean Steve Ballmer's done. He really is, man. And if he ends up getting away with this, obviously because he's the sixth richest man in the world, everybody keeps saying, and we understand he's filthy rich, nasty rich. Okay, so if he finds a way to weasel out of this one, it's just the rich get richer, and when you're ultra rich, your hand gets slapped, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? So look, Steve Ballmer, he goes on ESPN the other day, and I've never seen this before. The fact that he just goes straight to the quote worldwide leader in sports to proclaim his innocence, basically, and separate himself from Kawhi Leonard and his aspirations endorsement deal. It is absolutely wild to me. Absolutely wild to me. I've never seen this from an owner at all. There's a first for everything, and we're here for it, man. So as you can see, Steve Ballmer claims ignorance over reported $28 million Kawhi Leonard deal. Says third-party company conned me. I mean, how do you get conned out of $50 million and you're a billionaire? You know what I'm saying? Listen, I don't care how rich you are. These guys are meticulous when it comes to their money. They're calculated when it comes to their money. You're not a billionaire for no reason. We understand that he's part of Microsoft, founder of Microsoft, whatever, has a shit ton of Microsoft shares, which is why he's very rich. You know what I'm saying? You don't make that kind of money just pissing away cash at potential investment opportunities. In this case, aspiration, which is for the environment and whatnot. Okay. One of the quotes he made, and I watched the whole thing, and it's just, still so many questions that need to be answered. Just how does the timeline line up when Kawhi gets his contract and the money invested that you put in, and Kawhi starts the LLC? Just way too much smoke. But here's what he said: "We made an investment in the company." Ballmer said, "I had no control over this company at the time. It was an exciting deal for us to go do. We had already signed our deal with Kawhi Leonard. We understand that." You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he kept mentioning that. Oh, well, Kawhi got his max. Kawhi got his max. So what? So what if he got his max? All right. How do you get this sponsorship deal with this company to pay you guys and everything, and then one of your players has the dealings with it? As an owner, wouldn't you know? He did know, because he kept mentioning that. We aligned Kawhi. We just said, hey, they wanted, we presented Kawhi with this, and then from there, he's like claps, wash his hands, and that's it. You don't know the deal you got. Stop it. Okay, you're a billionaire, dude. You know everything. Okay, you know everything going on with your players. You're plugged in. Stop. At the time, we hadn't even introduced Kawhi to Aspiration. Then they requested to be introduced to Kawhi. Under rules, we can introduce our sponsors to our athletes. We just can't be involved. Okay. Where could any of the circumvention have happened? He continued. It couldn't have. The introduction got made, and then they were off to the races on their own. We weren't involved. I eventually learned that they reached a deal. I have no idea what the deal was. They conned me. Speculation is that Ballmer continued. Why did they do that? I don't know why they did what they did, and I don't know how different it is. And frankly, any speculation would be crazy. These are guys who committed fraud. Look, they conned me. I made an investment in these guys thinking it was on the up and up, and they conned me. At this stage, I have no ability to predict why they might have done anything they did. Oh, being naive, being ignorant, and when you watch the video, he's like, "Oh, I felt embarrassed by it." Oh, shut up! You're not embarrassed by it at all. Okay, what's embarrassing is that you got caught. You were supposed to be the guy that stirred the Clippers in the right direction, right? All these weird things. People keep mentioning DeAndre Jordan situation where he got fined $250K for a potential salary cap circumvention. Okay, the investigation in 2019, all that stuff, man. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on with the Clippers. Okay, and to the point now, people want to start speculating that there's stuff. Is there anything with Doc Rivers at his time there? Is there anything with James Harden at his time there? The NBA, I know they have rulings or laws in place, their own internal bylaws or laws to fine, take picks. I have a feeling that this needs to be a separate penalty that needs to be created for this team specifically. Okay, a specific punishment needs to be doled out, because this is talk about whizzing on us and calling it rain at this point. I find it very hard to believe that Steve Ballmer was not complicit and it was not. It was acting, and it's just trying to act like, oh, that has nothing to do with me. I don't know Kawhi's deal. I mean, it got weird in the interview where he was like, well, I don't know how much his deal was. I don't know. He kept saying I don't know. Well, now you know. And did you know? You know what I'm saying, that the $28 million. How could you not? When you are, how can you not know if you're investing $50 million into a company, right? Okay. How do you not know that? Who are the players involved? Who are they paying out, right? I mean, if you're investing that kind of money, wouldn't you want to know if you're gonna invest in a company? Wouldn't you kind of, especially that kind of capital? Wouldn't you not want to know the health of the company and who they have on the books? Just to say, okay, cool, I'm investing $50 million to this company, but also I see that they're spending this, they're spending that on in this celebrity, this athlete, this company, right? To make a better informed decision or know exactly how your money is being spent. No, especially for a guy like Steve Ballmer, this is not going to go well. He was better off just being quiet, honestly, and letting his lawyers just handle things behind the scenes with the NBA. You don't need to make a statement. The Clippers made their statement, which I felt like was his statement. Okay, when all this broke, when Pablo broke the story, and credit to Pablo for, everybody's giving credit as he should. Real journalism, you know what I'm saying? Look, he was investigating something else and he followed a rabbit hole, right? So good for him. And he has the NBA shook. NBA is in a bind right now. First of all, the NBA is somewhat thrilled that they're getting attention, right? And follow me, guys. NFL season is king. It's kicked off. We're full swing. We're ready to go. And then this is one of the more dominating headlines tied to one of the star players of the league. Not calling Kawhi Leonard a superstar, just a star player. Superstar is not just playing on the court, also availability and also, marketability and just being a face of the league, one of the top faces of the league. But that's my criteria. But one of the stars of your league is involved in this scandal now, right? So the NBA is getting a lot of press, a lot of clicks, a lot of mentions. Good on that front. Bad on that front that this is kind of the bad press, though, right? And the NBA looks very, very foolish and bad in all this. I'm not blaming the league. Not putting it on them. You know what I'm saying? They can't track every single player's business and stuff like. They can't do all that, But the NBA definitely feels embarrassed about one of their owners, a guy that they brought in to replace another shitty owner, and Donald Sterling. And a little over a decade later, and here we are again with the LA Clippers and all this. Ballmer's explanation was not good. The hands-off approach, saying that we've given files and all this, and the investigation's been out there. If Pablo didn't break this news, someone else will. Someone would have. Someone definitely would have. If someone else is reading these filings and stuff like that, they would have tied together as well. It would have been a matter of time before this came out. You know what I'm saying? I personally think so. If you're saying that the FBI and everybody's investigating, you hand over the files and all this stuff, yeah, you hand over your files to the Clippers organization, but, what about the aspiration company was probably handing over their files? So somebody eventually was going to crack this code. Whether it had been years from now, it would have happened already, right? But I'm kind of glad it happened now while Kawhi's still on the team, because there needs to be some serious punishment and consequences for all this going on. But I'm not buying with anything that Steve Ballmer said at all. I don't take him as a trustworthy guy. I know he's been good for the league and the Clippers and all this other stuff, but claiming ignorance with the amount of capital and to go on ESPN and get those softball questions and not really get grilled, and your responses was basically like lawyer providing everything like that, man. Dude, absolutely bad on his part, man. The NBA needs to come down hard on the Clippers. Very, very hard. Some very severe penalties, absolutely. Ignorance is not an excuse. Y'all know what y'all think about this, man. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe. I'm out.